On a machine that stops with the needle in the highest position, we want to utilize that as much as possible by changing our habits from turning this hand wheel and turning it by hand. Here's a couple reasons why. If you are used to a mechanical machine in years past, you probably have struggled from time to time, whether you've had the needle or the thread coming out of the needle when you started to sew, or the reason you've had to hold on to those threads when you've started off is probably something like this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to notice a couple things first. When we stop with the needle in the up position, you're going to notice the take-up lever is all the way at the highest position. When we set it to stop with the needle in the down position, okay, if you find yourself utilizing the hand wheel to turn and bring that needle out of the fabric, a lot of people just turn it enough so that needle's maybe almost a half an inch out of the foot. That makes sense. You can take that fabric out, but you've probably noticed it's sometimes hard to pull out. There's extra threads, it's hard to stitch, and so forth. But look where the take-up lever is. Even though the needle is out of the fabric, the take-up lever is not at the highest position. And that means if you can get really close to your machine right now and you continue to turn the hand wheel towards you, bringing this all the way up, you're going to notice the thread going backwards through the eye of the needle. And you're going to say, what? Why is it going backwards? Well, that loop of thread that it goes down and wraps around the bobbin with, that thread still has to be pulled back up to create the stitch on the back side of the fabric. The take-up lever's job is to do just that. So he's still pulling the thread up out of the back underneath part of the machine. So if you take your fabric out, cut your thread, and start to sew again, well, that's why that thread comes out of the needle. It's because it's finishing the stitch. So if you are going to use the hand wheel, which I say you don't have to, make sure that you keep turning it until it's all the way up at the highest position. That also puts the needle threader at the proper place for use. So if you ever find yourself not having the proper position, or it's not coming through the eye, just take a stitch and then make that needle pop up to its proper highest position. Take-up lever comes up here, and you're all set for when you start your next seam. So hands off the hand wheel if all possible. Use that needle up and needle down feature by holding that button in a little bit longer, and that will really make life a little easier. And you don't even have to put your hand over here at all.